Welcome to another edition of All Things Rome. I'm your host, Doug Walker, and today, All Things Rome is going to focus on our neighbors down in Cave Spring, and particularly the Fairview E.S. Brown School, which is celebrating a big event November 7th, and I've got Joyce Perdue and Hardy Sams with me initially. We're going to have some more folks before we're done today. Joyce, welcome to the program. Tell us a little bit about what's going to happen on November 7th.
Okay. November 7th, by proclamation of the city of Rome and the city of Cave Spring, was declared Fairview School Day. Most of you have probably heard about the Rosenwald School in Cave Spring, Georgia, that has made statewide history for the last 12 years since the time that we discovered it until now. As a part of the Fairview School Day, we'll be honoring virtually the work effort that has taken place on the campus, as well as the alumni who attended the school. As a part of our presentation today, we have 3 alumni here to share their stories of what school was like back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s.
And Hardy Sams is with us today, and Hardy, you were a resident of the Chubtown community, is that right?
I was a resident of Chubtown, yes, Chubtown.
Tell us a little bit about your time at Fairview Brown.
Okay, I was bused in from Chubtown to Fairview, starting in the first grade. My aunt was my first grade teacher, who was very strict and was focused on teaching us and making us really learn and principles and so on about life that I carried throughout life. My travels, I always remembered the principles that they taught us. The professor there was very important in our lives. His name was Professor Brown, and he had a unique, they would call him eccentric at this point, but he was unique and was eager to teach us how to learn and teach us principles. And that's just one of the fond memories that I do have of the many memories that I experienced at Cave Spring.
And Hardy, tell us a little bit about what it has meant to you to see Fairview Brown resurrected from the kudzu.
Right, it's really been a fine experience because I remember being at Fairview Brown in that school that exists now. It was my first grade room, and that's where I did my first grade at that particular building that's now erected and that's been renovated. And it just means a lot to me to see that it's existing, that it's been resurrected.
Now, Joyce, let me come back. We just had, just recently, we were up in Calhoun with the Commissioner, Christopher Nunn from the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, who presented you with a nice check.
It's nice check.
Nice to get a $51,000 check. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing with that.
Okay, so most of you all know that we found the school covered in ruins by kudzu. Actually, it was saved by the kudzu. We've worked feverishly over the last few years, 10 years to be exact, to restore the campus and to make sure that school was a safe haven. Our plans now are to move into our mission to serve the elementary school children of the area, and as a part of that, it includes a master plan which gives us the opportunity to put together a business plan to account for the next 4 or 5 years of how we plan to operate the actual historic preservation work that's still left to remain on the campus and that sort of thing. What's the business plan?
So you want to restore not just the one building that is there, which has pretty much been restored for the most part.
Sure.
You'll be doing ultimately some other things, some handicapped access and things to the building, but you want to return the grounds much as they were. This was more than just a couple of buildings.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It included gardens. It included a space to play. The actual Rosenwald School that no longer exists will be interpreted through gardens, and we're looking forward to our kids coming in and learning from the experiences there.
All right, well, that's just some of what's fixing to go on. And Hardy, we appreciate you being in with us today.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
One of the things that I'm not sure a lot of people realize when they think about the Fairview Brown School and education in general is that way back in the day, education truly was a community event. And as I understand it, there were a number of community schools that were consolidated to form the Fairview Brown School. And our next guest today is Miss Severa Foster, who represents the Flat Rock community. And Ms. Foster, I guess maybe tell folks who are uneducated about that exactly where the Flat Rock community is and what it was like shifting from Flat Rock to Fairview Brown.
Well, Flat Rock was a community school. In the days that we all went to Flat Rock, I was raised at Flat Rock in the Cunningham community. And our church is right across the street from it. So Flat Rock was a small wooden school, one-room school. And it had several grades. We went up until the 3rd grade. And after that, we was bused to Fairview. So in those days, we had teachers like Miss Stokes, Miss Palmo, and Miss Gladys Roper from Cedartown. And they taught us all that they knew. And our day would start off with, in the morning time, our day would start off with a prayer, a song, and a Bible verse. Then after that, we ate lunch. And then after that, we would come back in for the rest of our classes for today. And going to Fairview, it was a big experience because we had to ride the bus. So we had to get up early in the morning to catch the bus. And our bus driver was Mr. Wilson Turner and Mr. Garrett. And going to Fairview was a wonderful experience. And I can remember the principals, Miss Body, Professor Body, and Professor Perdue. And later after that, then, after we left Fairview, we was bused to Main High. So those was wonderful days at Fairview and the Flat Rock community.
Now, Ms. Severa, how important has it been to you to see the Fairview Brown School, restored and become what will be a big tourism draw, I suspect, for the entire Cave Spring community?
Well, to tell you the truth, I never would have thought we would have been where we are today at Fairview. Once Miss Perdue found the school and we went to work on it, we had several events to get that school restored to where it is today. We had barbecue sales, cake sales. We just did everything we could to get to where we are today. Mm-hmm. So that's been a wonderful experience.
Miss Joyce has been a magnificent fundraiser through the years. She's just, tell us quickly, Joyce, about finding the school, because it literally was covered in kudzu.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. And I love to tell that story. And I'll say so briefly. When I returned back to the area to support my mom and dad, I thought it was very important that I researched my dad's professional career. As a part of that, I discovered that the Floyd County Board of Education had its board meeting books back to right after the Civil War. And it was through that event that we discovered that the Fairview School could likely have been in existence. At that point in time, some alumni took me to the side of Padlock Mountain, pointed out this egregious area covered in kudzu, mm-hmm. That actually wound up being the Fairview School, all covered in kudzu. So we sought at that point in time from the alumni assistance, with the alumni assistance, to see it underneath the kudzu.
Well, that was truly a magnificent effort, and we're going to be seeing clips throughout the program today of the school as it looks today, and it's just been an absolutely magical transformation. Our final guest today is part of this special program about the Fairview Brown School is Mr. Ted Barnett, who is joining us actually from Cave Spring. And I understand, Ted, you walked to school in your younger days.
Well, actually, it's my older brothers and sisters. I was fortunate enough to be able to ride on on the school bus. But they, my older brothers and sisters had to walk, because back in those days, most of the families consist of large families, and in my family alone, there was 11 children.
My goodness.
Yeah, and I'm the baby boy out of the 11, 2 under me. So those the ones that, the older ones the ones that walked, but we were fortunate enough to get a bus ride.
Well, now, how far, what part of Cave Spring did you live in, and how long was that ride?
Yeah. The bus ride for us was probably, oh Lord, because we had to go get on from from the city of Cave Spring to where we lived. It's about 6 miles or 7. And then we had to go through Chubbtown, pick up kids, go up through parts of Booger Holler, then cut across and go up through Cunningham, and then from Cunningham back down 411 to Cave Spring, picking up kids all the way. Montgomery was the last ones to get on Carree's Hill, and we were the first or second coming over Padlock Mountain from Cave Spring.
Now, Ted, tell us a little bit about how long you have been involved with the Alumni Association and how active you have been able to be in the restoration work.
Well, I started out thanks to Miss Joyce, that I've been on it for a good while. That started out when Joyce started the resurrection program, and I was able to help a whole lot more then than I am now. But I am so glad to see my first grade building come up, and this project coming together. It's been a long road, and we've lost several of our students on the way, but we accomplished a lot through Joyce and her diligence to continue.
Let me ask you, both of you, and we'll start with Mr. Ted and then we'll finish up with Ms. Joyce. How important do you think it is for the children of today to be ultimately exposed to what education was like and get a feel for their history from, gosh, we're talking about 70 plus years ago?
Well, it's very important because it taught you to have some sense of value of where you came from to get where you are today. As I say, from the outhouse to the in-house, you know, from walking with a little bucket of lunch sack to the microwave oven, you know, to the potbelly stove, to gas stove, to just all the conveniences that you have then, now that you didn't have then. But those kids didn't do it.
Well, now, Joyce, I know that the historical and educational component is so important to you.
Oh, it most certainly is. It most certainly is. Our future goal for the campus itself is to be a place for children again. I hear so much from the community and so much from the alumni about hearing the laughter of the hill on the hill again. And it's because of all the wonderful educational experience that they experienced there, the teachers and so forth that contributed to their success and putting them in a position to be the citizens of today, financially strong and able to raise their grandchildren and send them on to college and so forth and so on. So we're very proud to continue the legacy of Fairview. We are looking forward to students from the surrounding counties to become a part of our educational program as it is developed, and to hear the wonderful stories there and to learn not only just the history of Fairview, but how to become people and responsible adults.
And real quickly, how, if people want to write a check, I got to let you have that opportunity.
Yes,
who do they send it, or where do they send it to?
Okay, the checks can be mailed to P.O. Box 499. That's P.O. Box 499, Rome, Georgia, the Fairview School, 30161.
All right. Thank you all for being with us today, and we thank you for being with us on another edition of All Things Rome.